Shalom. Call halal Yahweh Bashem Abishai, Bahashem Rakak Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of the great millstone. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so. To the scattered Israelites around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, scattered among the heathen nations, looking like the heathen nations. To them I say shalom, and to the Akwaf, the few sisters that are listening and learning. It's a very serious lesson. As you can see, the demonization has started because this is an article in the Times of Israel. All right, and as you see this this coon, Masimba Musadoza, more than likely he's from West Africa and he looks like an Israelite. More than likely he is an Israelite. One of those of us, as many Israelites in Africa still. All the Israelites weren't taken into the slave ships and brought here to the America. Millions of them were still there. But this guy is coming in that spirit of Julius Alexander, you know, who was a general that fought for Titus and helped bring down, who fought for Vespasian and his son Titus and helped bring down, the destruction of Jerusalem in 70 A.D. All right. As a matter of fact, it makes me want to grab from Babylon to Timbuktu real quick, just to prove a point. I have a copy of that back here, and here it is. I haven't pulled this out in a while. This is from Babylon to Timbuktu. You'd actually Google this and find this quote that I'm about to read by Rudolph R. Windsor, and it's called "The History of the Ancient Black Races, Including the Black Hebrews." Well, there's no such thing as a black race. It's just talking about dark-fleshed people when it says black, okay? It's just a byword. Because you're looking at Musada, and he probably looks a little darker, through my phone recording. But he's a chocolate man, and his skin is brown. Chocolate is brown, not black. Okay, but here on I'm on page 84. It reads, in the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem in 70 AD. General Vespasian and his son Titus put an end to the Jewish state, to the Israelite state, or of the Jews. There was no Jewish state. That was their homeland. All right, with great slaughter during a period of the military governors of Palestine, many outrages and atrocities were committed against the residue of the people, them that were left, because the northern kingdom was already here in the Americas and scattered around the world. All right, the southern kingdom were mainly still in the land of Jerusalem at this time. All right, making up the tribes of Benjamin, Levi, and Judah. All right, that's why in West Africa there is a place, you can find this on old maps from 1783. They had a part of Africa which was called Negro land, making a distinction between Negroes and Africans. That's why the slave signs never said Africans for sale. It always said Negroes for sale. All right. Back to what I'm reading. It says, during the period of military governors of Palestine, many outrages and atrocities were committed against the residue of the people during the period from Pompey to Julius. It has been estimated that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa, and it was way more than that. All right? Fleeing Roman persecution and slavery, and the slave markets were full of black Jewish slaves. And this is a fact. This isn't to be argued. This is a fact, and it happened. And there are relics in history to prove it. Just because they want to overlook it and not talk about it. All right? And then there's a scripture written in Deuteronomy 28:64, and it reads, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even of wood and stone. All right. So you got a lot of Israelites that converted to Islam and worship that cobblestone, that rock. And then there are also images of Cesare Borgia carved in stone and in rock. All right. So this Masimba Musadoza is more than likely one of those scattered Israelites that went into the west coast of Africa, because I got a feeling he's Nigerian. All right. And the Nigerians are primarily Israelites. Okay. So he's coming in that spirit. And this, when we read about this, this battle, when General Vespasian and his son Titus took down Jerusalem and Israel, they didn't do it. Tiberius Julius Alexander, or whatever it is, something to that effect, was the general that actually did the actual fighting against the Israelites, and he was an Israelite himself, just like this sellout coon right here, because this is not benefiting him whatsoever. All right, Esau Edom has been spewing hatred, but the very word, by referring, at least it says the Hebrew Israelites and not black Hebrew Israelites, but here it says, last week it was reported that a group of black Hebrew Israelites, he had to throw it in there, stood on the street in London, Stamford, and see, this is how you know this is of the Lord. Now, granted, I've had a few issues with these guys with some of the things they said and did, but nevertheless, man, I still believe that they're men of the Lord and they're doing the work of the Lord, man. All right, and they're pushing the name of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, so I have to support them for that reason, if that alone. They're still brothers. All right, it says, on the street in London, Stamford Hill area, which has a large Jewish community preaching their virulently anti-Semitic ideology. No, what they were reading was the Bible. And see, sellout, turncoat traitors, cowards like this Masimba guy, all right, they hate the Bible and they love their enemy, man. And I cannot wait for the Lord to kill the 2/3, for him to just utterly destroy and annihilate them. And it says, look up the church of Yahweh Shai 144, which is a good thing, because I hope people do look it up, because because the evidence is that they say, no matter how vulgar it comes out, and then I heard that they said a few things that they probably had no business saying, you know, and they're young, all right, they're young in this thing, you know, and as a, you know, you never make this thing personal, you never point out people or call out people, you speak in generals, and you know, you generalize, you never really point a person out unless that person is in direct confrontation with you, then that's a whole different situation. But nevertheless, however you look at it, I've watched some of these brothers' videos, all right, and they're going into the scriptures and going into the history directly and correctly for the most part. All right, and it's just that it's not that the Hebrew Israelites are a real threat. The real threat is Yahweh Shai. All right, because what's happening, the real threat is that the truth is out. This is Second Ezra, and this is totally organic. I really didn't plan this. I didn't write things down. I planned to do this video on this subject, but you know, I didn't write out, you know, a bunch of scriptures. I'm just going off the, you know, off the spirit. But this is Second Ezra 6 and 27 and 28. Oh, no, I'm in 4. I'm in 7, so I can need to be in 6. All right. 6 and 28, and it reads, and 27, and it reads, you know what, I'm going to start at 25. I'm going to start at 24 and read down, right? But the point is in 27 and 28, right? And it reads, at the time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and that's this guy, because he's fighting against the truth. He's kicking against the pricks like Paul was. Well, like Saul was before the Lord changed his name to Paul and revealed to him that he, you know, that he's one of the Lord's elect, or hopefully elect, and to do the work of Yahweh Shai Shai and follow Yahweh Shai and keep the law, not just use the law as you know, as your saving grace. The law cannot save you, okay? But again, verse 24 said, at the time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein, and the springs of fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. So there's going to be no water, no food. And there's going to be total riots and chaos in the city, man. And guys like this, the Lord's going to remember them in that day, man. All right? As a matter of fact, he may even use some of these brothers that he's trying to demonize to be the hunters that come for him. All right? Verse 25, whomsoever remaineth from all these that I have told, they shall escape, and they shall see my salvation at the end of your world. So at the end of Esau's world, man, the end of your world, because we're standing in the gates of the nobles. All right? These men were standing in the gates of the nobles. And for the 1,000th time, there's no such thing as anti-Semitic. That's a made-up word. The man's name was Shem. All right? Not Sem. There is no Sem. There was no son. Noah didn't have a son named Sem. He had a son named Shem. And out of Shem came a group of people, different nations, which were called the Hebrews. They came out of Eber. Matter of fact, let's get it. And then I'll go back to that Ezra scripture. But in Genesis, the 10th chapter in the Table of Nations, it reads in verse 21, 10 and 21, unto Shem, the father of the children of Eber. Why did he pick out just Eber? Because Eber in proper Hebrew means Ibar, Hebrew. Plural is Ibaryah, Hebrews. All right? He says, unto Shem, the father of all the children of Eber, and the brother of Japheth, the elder. Eber became the father of the Hebrew nations. Eber became a father of many nations, but only one was chosen, and Abraham came out of that one nation. All right? There is no scriptures to say that Abram was the first Hebrew like this false ish imposter over in the land of Israel who said in a video that I did, the one before the last, man. He made that statement. Okay? And this sellout turncoat traitor to his own people is supporting the lie. But you know what? These offenses must come. It's written that these offenses will come. All right? So there's a whole group of races that came out of Eber, of Ibar, and they came the Hebrew nations. But the one that was chosen, the chosen of those people, started with Abraham and his seed. But Abraham's father, his brothers, his uncles, they were all Hebrews. All right? That's why he told his son to go and get a wife from among his people, from among the Hebrews. He didn't want his son to marry the women of Canaan. He wanted his son to marry a woman that was from that line of Ibar, from the Hebrew races. To name a couple, Elam, Moab, Ammon, all right? Aram, Hebrew nations. Edom, the Edomites are also Hebrews, man. And their forefather name is Shem. All right? It was Shem, not Sem. All right? So the ideology is the false ideology that this guy is trying to protect. All right? Because the whole anti-Semitic thing is a totally created word. All right? Using a real word, they created a word, Semitic. All right, they created that word. As a matter of fact, if you go to the blue letter in the Bible and go to the blue letter Bible and you look for the word Semitic, it's going to tell you it doesn't exist in the King James Bible nor in the blue letter. They made it up to make it as if there's only one race of Hebrew people, and that's a lie. There is only one chosen race of Hebrew people, though, and that would be the Hebrew Israelites. That's why they're the threat. That's the real threat. But back to 2nd Ezra, and it reads in 6 and 27. For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. And as for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome, and the truth which have been so long without fruit, shall be declared. And that's what's happening, man. The truth is being declared. And they don't like it. And this coon don't like that his master is hurt. All right, because whatever benefits he's receiving is going to end with the fall of his master, whom he clearly loves. Let's get a few more scriptures and wrap this thing up. This is Mark 13 and 12. Point is in 13. Well, actually 12 and 13. Now the brother shall betray the brother to death, and the father and son shall rise up against their parents and shall cause them to be put to death. So our own people, our own family members are going to come against us. And the scriptures clearly say that some of the men of the Lord are going to be martyrs. Some of the men that you're looking at on the screen are going to be martyrs, but some of them are also going to be hunters. They're going to live through this. I just read it in Ezra. Okay? And verse 13. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. So that's what we're all doing. We're all looking to endure to the end that we may be saved, man. All right? And for that name's sake, it's right there on the screen. Yahweh Shai 144, man. All right? The Church of Yahweh Shai. Okay? And all the Hebrew Israelites that go on the highways and byways and push the name of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai directly and correctly according to what the scripture said, are all more than likely of the elect. All right? Of the hopeful elect. All right? And they're pushing the name of Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shai. This is Luke 6 and 22. Blessed are ye when men shall hate you, and when they shall separate you from their company, and shall reproach you, and cast out your name as evil. That's what this guy is doing. They don't understand. You can do nothing against this truth, only for it. Because all he's going to do, people are going to look up Church of Yahweh Shai, and they're going to get a thorough education. And basically, all the lies that they believe in are going to be debunked, torn down, and destroyed, man. Right? Because it's almost our time. You know, like that camp that's always saying, we got next. Well, when they say that, it's the truth. Call halal Yahweh Bashim Abashai Bahashim Wakar Kadash Wa Abba Babal.